Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Eden from Lemonerdy. I hope you guys are all doing well and that you're safe and happy and having a good Sunday so far. So today, I'm going to be doing some cooking and some coding. Mostly cooking first. Is this supposed to be this watery? This is supposed to make butter and sugar. That's right. You do not want to take your eggs out in the morning. So I could just roll up. Supposed to. Yeah. I think the stuff. Okay. I think we're gonna put some cheese in it, so I'll probably have to do that really fast. But I also have to check on the biscuits. Nice and hot biscuits. And voila! This is the final plate. Time to code. So give me 2 minutes, and then I will be ready to show you guys how to make the drawing game.
I didn't know I was on camera. Okay, so now it's time to show you guys how to make the drawing game. So let's see. I'll just name this drawing game because we're super original. And the main part of the drawing game, you go to the extensions and choose the pen extension. And you start out with an example sprite, which is this weird looking cat. And then what I usually do, I'll just delete the sprite, delete one of the other costumes, and then select it, delete it. And you're gonna need like a basic pen for the user to draw with. So I'll just make like we'll just start with a line so that we can get into the coding, and then we'll start doing more of the other things later. I feel like they might have a pencil in the costume library though, because Scratch conveniently has, oh, there we go. We can just use that. And what we're going to do is, basically what we want to happen is if the user is clicking down, then it will start drawing, and if they stop clicking, then it'll stop, like if you're just dragging and stopping and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is when start click, so basically this just means at the beginning of the program, and then we'll have a forever loop so that so it's just always whenever you're clicking down, then it'll start drawing. So then we have an if-else statement, and we're going to put if the mouse is down, so basically it just means if you're clicking or not. Then we'll go to the pen and then put pen down. So if the mouse is down, the pen is down, and if it's not, then put the pen up. So we can test this, see how that works. Oh wait, see, that's the problem. This sprite does not move along, the pencil does not move along with it. So this needs to be able to move wherever the mouse is. So we need to make another forever loop, duplicate this, and just take that out so we can just have a forever loop, and then make it go to the mouse pointer forever. So now it's just gonna follow me. But see, the thing is, if I'm clicking, it's just gonna be clicking on this, so you can't really click on the thing where you want it to go. But you can see that it's starting to make like dots, but you can't, it's kind of blocking it because this is right next to it. So if you go into the costumes tab and zoom out a little bit, you can select this and move it so that the edge of it is not at the center, because the center is where it's going to be following the mouse from. And it needs to be not touching where the mouse is so that you can properly draw. See? Now it's drawing. So now we don't always want the pen to be blue, right? So, and also we might want to get rid of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a new sprite and make a button to clear the screen. And you can't see the words right now because it was purple, same color as the button. So this button will clear the stage, clear the drawing area. You might want to make that a little bit smaller so they have more room to draw. But again, if you guys want to follow along, go to scratch.mit.edu.com, and you don't need to have an account. You just press the create button and you can follow along with me. So if you're just joining in, then I have two sprites. One is a pencil and one is a button that says clear, and inside of the pencil sprite we have when start clicked and a forever loop. If the mouse is down, then the pen goes down, and if it's not, then the pen goes up, which makes it draw. And then we also have another forever loop that makes the pencil follow the mouse. Then in this clear button, we're going to go to the events tab, and then whenever this sprite is clicked, it will erase everything. So click it, everything's gone. Simple as that. So draw, clear, it's gone. Draw, clear, it's gone. So now we can draw and we can erase, but we want to change the color. And you can make it a little bit more advanced by making something that shows what color it is while it's changing. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So I'm going to make a little box that is going to start out as just red, because that's the color effect that I think it naturally goes to. And I'll just put that up in the corner. I think that's the first color that it naturally goes to. So I think I'll have it set the pen color to this at the start. And then oh, actually, this is going to be setting the pen color for this sprite, so I actually need to move this to the pencil sprite and then delete that. And then I'm going to need a forever loop that syncs up the color of the pen's sprite with the color of this sprite. So every time it changes the color, so you're also going to need a color changing button. I think what we can do is, actually, we can just use this. We can use this as the color changing button. So when this sprite is clicked, we're going to broadcast a message to the pencil sprite, because we can't change the color of the pencil's pen from this sprite. So we need to send a message to it, and we'll have that call change color. And it'll send that to this. So then we'll have when I receive change color, then we'll put change pen color by 10. And then whenever it's clicked, it should also change its own color so that it is synced up with the same color as the pen. So if we go to looks, then we can scroll down and we'll have it change color effect by 10 whenever this is clicked. So let's test that out. So at the start, so now they're the same color, red and red. If we click on this, this is changing to orange, but this is still the same color, so I think it needs to change its color effect by a higher number. Now that's yellow, but that's not the same as this, so maybe it needs to be less. Let's try 20. Because they might not change at the same rate. So let's start. So when it start, click the one it says set color effect to 0. And then so it should, oh, see, I put it on the wrong thing. This should be over there. Now it's red, and the pen is red again. Let me just clear this so I can really clearly see. And then I'll change this, and there we go, it's orange. So now these are synced up with each other. So that's good. So now it can change the color, but what if we want to change the size of the pen? Like how big the strokes are. So let's make some black dots. Circle. So let's make it like that. And then we'll put this over here, and then we'll see if, and then we'll make that so that whenever this is clicked, it will send a message to, oh, you know what? I could just make this a lot easier if I made this just an up arrow and a down arrow, and then just made it as big as you wanted it to be. So let's make an up arrow and a down arrow. So start with a square, and then we'll edit the shape. I'll just select this point, delete it, and you got a triangle. That's one up arrow. And then when the sprite is clicked, we'll broadcast a message called change size. And then when this sprite receives change size, then it will change the pen size by 1. And that will make the pen size go up 1. And now see, this pen is a little bit thicker. And we also need to make a down arrow, so I'll duplicate this sprite, go to the costumes, I need to flip this vertically so that it faces down, then move this over here, and then I'll also, to make it safe, because people might not know that makes the size any bigger, so I'll just put the words and size in between them. So it's, there we go. So let's see, the down arrow needs to send a different message because it needs to make it smaller. So I'll put a change size smaller. Then I'll go back to the pencil and go to events, and when I receive change size to smaller, then change pen size by -1. So let's say I make the pen size really big, and then it's like really, really thick. I can also change the color. And then I want to make it smaller, and it gets a little bit smaller. And sometimes when when the thing is following me, it thinks that I'm trying to move the sprite, but it won't be like that in player mode, because in player mode you can't actually move move the sprite. You're just like, you can't move it yourself. It'll just follow your mouse all the time. So now we have it changed the size and the color, but what if they want to change what the background color is like? So if the background is just transparent, it's not going to change colors because that's not a color. And it won't if it's black or white either. So we'll start the color off at, let's say, blue. And then I'll make a square for that. And then I can make the background change when I press a certain button, which I will make in a second. So I'm just going to make this message whenever it receives this message, and I'm going to put where it sends the message when I make the next button. So I'll make a message that says background change color, and when it receives that message, then change the color effect by 25. Then I'll make another sprite. I'll just duplicate this one so I don't have to make a new button. I'll just change the text. Then I'll make this smaller so it fits inside the box. Not that small. Let's clear this up. And I'll put that right next to the clear button. And then I'm going to, make a broadcast message. When the sprite is clicked, broadcast background and change color. So when I click this, it changes to different colors. So this is like a pretty basic drawing game, but if you want to add something a little cooler, then you can make it able to draw on yourself. So there's a thing you can do. I think there's like a camera. I don't know. I think it might be in the extensions. Yes, I'm flashing with the camera. Allow. And then now it can see me in here. So you can actually just like draw on yourself. But then we also need to make an option in the game to turn it on and off. So we're going to make a new button. And I don't think they have a camera button in the sprite library, so I'm just gonna like make my own slightly unrealistic and ugly camera. And I'll just turn up this. That's supposed to be like the lens. And then I'll put like a thing. And that's like the top of the camera. That looks like a camera, right? Yeah, that kind of looks like a camera. And maybe I could like add a little flash to the camera so that it looks more like a camera. So I'll make a little square and make the outline to nothing. Then I will add some points to make a flash. Oh no, there's not what it's there. Ah. Oh my gosh, what's happening here? Okay, this flash is having some technical difficulties here. Maybe it needs some more points. Yeah, that's good enough. Good enough. And then I'll just move that to like here. Or there we go. That generally looks like a camera. Okay. So I'll make that a little bit smaller and then move it over here. So when it is clicked, so at the start, it should turn the camera off. Where's the camera? Here it is, video sensing. Turn video off at the beginning, it should be off. Then, then I need to make it so that when it clicks it turns it on and off. And so if the video is already on, then it should turn it off. And if it's off, then it should turn it on. So that's like a toggling thing, which is a little bit more advanced to do. But I'm just gonna use this variable and rename it to video camera status. And at the beginning, it should be set to 1, which is off. And when the sprite is clicked, if it equals 1, which should be off, video camera status equals 1, which is off, then it should turn it on. And if it is not, then it should turn it off. And then at the end of this script, it should set video camera status to video camera status multiplied by -1. So basically what's happening here is that it's going to be switching back and forth from 1 and -1, because if you multiply -1 by 1, it becomes -1. If you multiply -1 by -1 again, then it goes back to 1. So that just switches it back and forth and does all of the toggling for me. And every time it changes it changes the status too. So this is what it's going to be like in the beginning. It's going to be off. And also I would want the stage to be clear at the beginning. So everything's gone, and then now it's on, off, on, off. So I could draw on myself. I could just like give myself a mustache. There we go. Or I could just like draw a circle around my face, or I could make like a new green shirt. There we go. And then just like color that. Something like that. So basically, this is a basic drawing game, and if you want to duplicate this later or work on it later, then I will post this on my post this on my Lemonerdy Scratch account so that you can see it whenever you want to. And if you want to see it, then just press the see inside button and you can see it. So I'm going to post this. And then I'll just say, if you want to see the live instructions of me making this, check out the video on my channel where I code and cook. And the clip is towards the end. Feel free to remix this and add your own new. So on the Scratch website, if you were following along and you want to save it, then and you didn't have an account already, make sure that you make an account and you can save it there. And you can also remix this project and do it however you want, because if you remix it, then it will just copy everything in this, and then you can change it however you want, and then it'll just say this is remixed from the original project by Lemonerdy. Or you can just follow these instructions that you did while you were watching, and then you can post it on your own. And if you do it, then I want to be able to see it if you follow along. So I'm wondering how you, okay. If you do follow along, then comment on this project and put a link to the project that you made once it's posted. And then I'll be able to see it and I'll give it a like and a favorite. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was fun. I've been doing this for 3 whole hours and I am tired. So I'm going to go eat my wonderful brunch that was a lot of hard work. So, cheers. Bye guys.